Well, it looks like we're live, everybody. 6 o'clock p.m., whatever that means. 2024, Kiler Davenport, the lone wolf, here on Restream. And so far, Restream has been pretty good, I guess, to us. We're on 7 other platforms tonight, so 8 total. And then maybe a few others if someone is somehow streaming us. We got 13 total platforms. 14, I'm sorry, 14. Don't want to use that number 13. A little bit gematria there. So 14 platforms, and here we are again tonight. Can I have a drink, like a root beer or something? Is there anything cold? Got to change the oil in the generator. Got to put on the windshield wipers on the 31-foot bounder. Got to do some tune up here and tune up there, and got to do some detailing on the bounder. And man, we've been working really hard here lately. I tell you, trying to just keep everything moving, keep everything on par, on track with the disaster team, the crisis team, the critical outreach team that we have. Marion bought me some organic almonds today, which I don't know if they're organic or not, but maybe so. I don't see how they could be totally organic with what is it, 7,500 chemicals or something. I don't know, 70,000. I don't know what it was. It was some weird number of chemicals hanging around here, synthetic, non-natural, not occurring in nature chemicals. But then again, we're not in nature, are we? We are in a game theory, simulation. We're in a simulation. So we're in the game. This is why, CERN exists, and this is what they found at CERN, and this is what Sitchin has found, and this is what several people, Billy Carson, have found. And you start looking at all of these ancient civilizations going back hundreds of thousands of years, and you start looking at all these pyramids and all of these obelisks that were put up the same way, thousands and thousands and thousands of miles apart without any communication between the tribes or the people or the beings that were there. And you end up with the big question, how the hell did that happen? So, yeah, a lot of stuff going on, including I've been looking at the Gateway Project again this week. I'm going to do a show on the Gateway Project. You guys should dive off into that Gateway Project. It's really amazing. The CIA had something really hot going there, and they still do. And now, of course, they've graduated, I'm sure, far beyond where they were 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, whatever, going all the way back past MK Ultra. We've come so far with the ability to time travel and manipulate this simulation, manipulate this particular illusion of space-time. That's always fascinated me, how we can manipulate the illusion of space-time, manipulate the simulation, and hack the simulation, if you will, kind of like I've learned to hack GPT-4, GPT-5, and GPT-40. Yeah, you can actually hack GPT if you know how to do it, and I'm not going to tell anybody how to do it here tonight. That will cost you some money, but it's only fair. Um, I had to turn the air conditioner on, man. It was getting so hot in here. I had to turn the generator on. Thank goodness, 2 generators. We're going. Um, we're going for some solar panels Friday. Met a new individual, and gonna go talk to him. The lady that made me acquainted with him actually told us that they were boondocking for 3.5 weeks on his solar panels, which was really cool. I couldn't believe it. I'm just like, oh man, this has got to be the coolest thing in the world. I wouldn't know what to think to be able to boondock out that far. I'm looking for my smokes, which I really shouldn't even be looking for, but I am. Where the hell are my smokes anyway? Do you have any smokes anywhere, Mary? Talking to my producer here. she's wanting me to roll one. I never stop researching, you know. I am a watcher, I am an observer, I am a researcher, and I just keep digging and digging and digging and digging and digging and digging. And I think I've dug a hole pretty much all the way through the center of the earth in research. And I'm learning so many things. You know, it's funny. I took pictures of all the chemtrails today. Not that any of you are interested in that really, but took pictures of all the chemtrails today. And there was like, I don't know, 100 of them, 150, 150 chemtrails. They were from horizon to horizon. Okay. We're talking horizon to horizon, folks. Okay. Listen to me. Horizon to horizon. Okay. I mean, how do you do that? Why do you do that? Okay. How do you do that? Why do you do that? Well, yeah, we're seeding the clouds, blah, 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 you know, blocking out the sun. It's too hot, blah, 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 you know, whatever. So here we are, Marion and I standing outside with a whole bunch of other people. Marion and I are taking pictures of the sky and looking up, and they're all going, "What are y'all doing? What are y'all looking at?" Anyway, I don't want to make too much fun of these idiots tonight, but what are y'all looking at? It's like, well, there's about 35 chemtrails, you know, over your head here, and they're spreading out. You know, they're like 75, 150 feet wide, and they're running from horizon to horizon. And it's like, you know, take a look, dumbass. Um, well, that's just a jets went over, you know, the jets flying over, you know. Whatever, whatever. These dumb son of a bitches. I tell you what, the people are so goddamn dumb. It just kills me and Marion and I. It just kills us, kills us, kills us. How dumb, how stupid people are. I mean, how stupid can you get, really? I mean, oh yeah, jets flew over 150 of them flew over in the last 4 hours. Yes, of course. And they put these things up over our head and they spread out 75 to 150, 250 feet long and horizon to horizon. Sure, that's just a normal jet flight, you dumb moron. Said, them there are some clouds, aren't they? Them there are some clouds, ain't they? Yeah, yeah. Brainiac, you brainiac. I bet you graduated the sixth grade, didn't you? But anyway, Marion's over here making fun of everybody. But this is practically everybody, folks. This is practically everybody, you know. I mean, all you bleeding hearts out there that just love to lick people's ass like a little dog, you know. It's everybody. Dumb as a box of rocks. And then we were talking today about the triangulation programs and the triangulation algorithms that are being used in hacking today. Um, you know, everybody's hacking everybody, and I'm talking about the top hackers in the world are all recruited by the top organizations in the world, like BlackRock and NASA and the Deep State and the military industrial complex and the Department of Defense and all these other agencies, CIA, you know, they got the best of the best of the best of the best geniuses, you know, doing all this hacking. And what the funny thing is, governments are hacking governments, corporations are hacking governments, governments are hacking corporations, corporations are hacking consumers, consumers are hacking consumers, kids are hacking kids, people are hacking people, avatars are hacking avatars, and then the prime directive there somewhere in the substrate is hacking the whole system of the simulation. And then, of course, the simulation is now building a new simulation that is much more advanced than the current simulation that we're living in. So we have a simulation within a million, billion, quintillion other simulations, which we've learned from CERN recently. By the way, you know, Sitchin and Billy Carson and others with CERN have come out and said, yes, we are just a game. That's all it's on it. Nothing exists. Your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your little homosexual buddy, whatever, your next door neighbor, the milkman, whatever, your boss, your friends, your community. Nothing exists. Nothing exists. Nothing exists until you render it up. It's rendered up. That's it. It's a probability. It's all based on probability, folks. It's all based on probability. And some of you just don't have the juice, to deal with that kind of thinking. Thinking that your wife doesn't exist unless you render her up. You know, I mean, unless she walks into the room, she doesn't exist. If she walks out of the room, you don't have a wife anymore. She's gone. She never was there. It's just an illusion, is all it is. An illusion of light, of course, photons. She doesn't exist. And then when she comes into existence, of course, and she's rendered up, then she catches up with the current status of memory and experience and so forth and so on. And you all have a conversation based on the moment in time that you're there. And somehow you have the capability to remember things that happened in the current moments and the past moments, we'll call them. And you have the ability to recognize this person you call your wife or girlfriend or boyfriend or neighbor or coworker or whatever, extended family member. You have the ability to recognize them or it, the other player coming into the game at that moment. Okay. You have the ability to recognize them. Now, that's a very interesting piece of information. And again, I'm going to bring up before we get into the main topic of the show tonight, which is really kind of cool. I want to recognize Chris and say hello to Chris. He's here. Chris, is your phone working any better tonight? That little toy phone of yours, iPhone.
I can hear.
No, you're chopping up like a big dog, man. You're chopping up really bad. Um, but anyway, folks, we'll get Chris to get his phone checked there, do a phone check. Um, but no, folks, this stuff that's coming up and the research where we are right now is just astounding. Just literally astounding. I had my clinician over here today, behavioral scientist over here today. We were discussing some of these things, and just amazing, amazing conversation. Just literally blow your mind conversation. Um, you know, trying to put the trying to put the wheels on this 787. We're trying to figure all this stuff out, man. It's really hard. It's really hard. It's really hard to keep up. Um, it's definitely hard to keep up with the technology and the science. Um, it's just mind blowing, mind boggling. When you wake up to the point where you realize that nothing exists except in your imagination and in your moment of rendering, your whole perspective changes. Everything changes. I mean, everything changes in your life when you realize that you're just a player in the game. That's all you are, a player in the game. And you're not even really that. I mean, you're not important. You're not significant in any way, shape, form, or fashion. None of the players are significant in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And of course, space is an illusion. This whole idea of space and the universe and infinity and so forth and so on. Another delusion, just another delusion. Um, when you realize all of this, it definitely slaps you in the face, and you're like, well, I'm going to have to kind of rethink things here a lot, not just a little bit, but a lot. you know, the way I talk, the way I communicate with other people, the way I interact with other people. And then eventually you get smart, you get so you're retarded. Everybody you talk to is mentally retarded. That's what happens. I mean, when you buy a Mercedes, and you've always owned a Volkswagen. I mean, you move in from a one bedroom or two bedroom roach ridden apartment to a 55 room mansion, with 8 swimming pools. Things change. You're like, well, I can't talk to those two-bedroom roach-ridden people anymore with all the bed bugs and the lice, and you know, it's like, wow, man, I can't even have a conversation with people. And if I do, I'm gonna have to really dumb myself down to something really stupid, to have a conversation here on the porch with these folks. And most of the shit we gonna be talking about is just plain stupid. you know, it's just and because you're well studied and well studied, I mean well studied, we're talking about 10, 12, 25 phd type of person. You're well studied, it's almost impossible to have a conversation with anyone. It's just you go out and you look at people and you're just like, oh shit, this is fucking weird. Look, what's going on here, all the stuff that's being rendered up, where did it come from? And where does it go when I look away? Where does it go when I close my eyes? Where does it go when I leave the premises? And other stuff is being rendered up. But it's amazing. It just gets more amazing, amazing. Like I said, the Gateway Project we're going to be talking about probably tomorrow night. I may do a show tomorrow night, and we may talk about the Gateway Project the CIA's been working on for so many years, and amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. I mean, um, they're traveling in a gazillion different directions, past, present, future, all in the same moment, and linear, nonlinear time. Uh, you know, Speed of light, of course, means absolutely nothing whatsoever. E equals mc squares. Who cares? Gravity doesn't exist. All of this stuff, that we've been talking about for many, many years on this show is all coming to pass. All of my predictions are coming to pass. All of the things I've said as a futurist have come to pass and are coming to pass right now. The problem is people are still trying to equate all of this bullshit with the religion. Religion. They have to bring God to it or Jesus or something. And the devil. I was listening to a video yesterday. Some guy was talking about Revelation and, Peter and Daniel and all these other scriptures. And he's talking about, the Lord's going to save you and Jesus is going to save you. And he's already worked it all out. He's already finished the course on the cross. And, the devil's going to have his time and have his day. But, oh boy, Jesus is coming with that sword and he's going to whack everybody off there, whack them off, with a sword, and he's going to be riding that white horse, which represents wisdom, and he's going to come down here and just whack everybody that hasn't that took the chip or the RIFD chip or the occiput little barcode on your right hand or your forehead or whatever it is. You know, if you take that, man, you're on hell, but you're all up. You've just sold, and that's it. And of course, the government's already said, Klaus, they will be able to buy, sell, trade, bank, travel. You know, you won't even have to have it without a permit. And so anyway, it's like, oh, nobody wants to see my ugly ass on the camera anyway. But it's like, why do people do this? I mean, even Joe Rogan, the atheist, my friend Joe Rogan, he was a great guy until he watched 1965. If I were the devil, what I would do. If I were the devil, I would do this and I would do that. And Joe Rogan's like, whoa, man, he knew that 1965. Oh my God, man, wow. And like, Orson Welles, with War of the Worlds, and you know, these all these other futurists religions and things. Very interesting. And they fall back on religion, 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 religion. Really, they've always got to insert God, religion, God, or Jesus, or the Lamb, or this or that, the devil, demons, blah 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 blah. And you can't convince them that we were hominoids when the Atlanteans came here, when the Sumerians came here, when the sky people came here. We were hominoids, and then we were eventually altered into Homo sapien, and then Homo sapiens sapiens. And they can't imagine that we were manipulated in the game, in the simulation by these ancient aliens. And so they always have to say that angels came down and had sex with the women, the beautiful women of the earth, and there were Nephilim were created, the giants were created, and all these weird creatures, all this silly, silly shit. People spit out. You know, I thought of this tonight because it's very, very difficult for me to talk to people who are so stupid and ignorant and who believe in religion and God and Jesus and the devil and demons and hell. And if you masturbate, don't repent, you're going to go to hell and burn. And oh, the oil is going to burn you forever and eternity, and you're going to gnashing of teeth, and your skin's going to be melting from your bones, and all this kind of silly shit. It's just I don't know how people can grown adult, mature adults can believe this kind of shit. I mean, it's just amazing to me. It's totally amazing to me that educated people can believe this kind of shit. The only thing I can come up with is they're afraid of the hell thing. The hell thing has been brainwashed and beat into everybody's head so much that everybody's like, "Oh man, I don't want to go to hell. Oh, I don't want to go to hell." You know, but people still sin. They still make mistakes. They still do bad things. Yet they don't want to go to hell. The Bible says they have the appearance of, but they're not of God. But they have the appearance of God, but they're not of God. Oh, they don't go to hell. Hell, hell, hell. Hell keeps people pretty much in line. You know what I mean? Hell, that thing, hell, it keeps pretty much in line. But yet, when it comes to the mark of the beast, if we call it that, when that's here, the mark of the beast is here, and most people, even so-called Christians, will take it because if you don't take it, you won't be able to go anywhere. You won't be able to do anything. You won't be able to travel. You won't be able to buy, sell, trade, or bank. You won't be able to have a normal relationship with your spouse. You won't be able to buy a car, sell a car, buy a boat, sell a boat. You won't be able to go around the country or out of the country. You won't be able to get a passport. You won't be able to do anything. Basically, you'll have to go in the woods and just cover yourself up, ferns and hide and grass. That's what I was talking to my clinician today. Uh, you know, I haven't heard anybody on this show yet come back with a really good narrative on my teachings of the game. The red pill versus the uh, blue pill, or Morpheus talking to Neo, and the Watchers, and the Book of Enoch and the Atlanteans and the Anunnaki and so forth and so on. I haven't had anyone come back with any intelligent discourse whatsoever on my teachings. It's just amazing. It's amazing to me. I don't know if people are just stunned, or they're just confused, or they just don't know what to say, or they're not educated enough to discuss the very complex issue concerning the double split experiment, allowing us to know that this is a game and a simulation, and that we're just rendering everything up as we see it. It's rendered up, otherwise, it doesn't exist. So, yeah, Chris, can you get your phone working? Any comments so far? And then we'll get to what I was going to be talking about tonight. Man, I'm getting so tired of this.
I don't. Is it, am I choppy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you're like ancient, prehistoric choppy. It's like you're talking on a dollar store phone or something, or a track phone or something.
No, I think it's just my low on battery.
You're not there. All I can hear is that's all I can hear. I don't know. And maybe Chris has turned into a cyborg, full blown robot. I don't know what's happened to him. He's here though. Chris is here. Chris is here. What I came to talk about tonight.
Is
I
that
was
any better?
thinking. What? Oh yeah, it's a lot better. Oh man, yeah, a lot better. What happened? Did you pull that other plug out of your butt or put it back in your ear or what?
No, my headset. So my headset's about dead.
Yeah, well, you kind of when you're on radio, you kind of have to be fully prepared, kind of like taking a mission into space
I
or
went
maybe a
there with you. I
extraction.
already knew you were. I knew you were. And these things are supposed to be powered up for 10 hours. I haven't had them on today, but last night.
Yeah,
So I just them. I didn't use them,
yeah,
but my problem. But I was at work, couldn't deal with it,
right,
so I didn't.
right. I understand. Yeah, I understand. Um, what I came on to talk about tonight is that Marion and I are developing a new page called Marion's List. Marion's List. And the way this is going to work. Now, the reason this came up in the first place is because I came up with this brighter idea. I had a bright idea a long time ago, and I've been doing this, but I came up with a brighter idea to really get out there and start complimenting people on their public service and their service and their hard work and the blue collar workers, the guy that works at McDonald's, the girl that works at Burger King through the window, the guy that works at the sub shop, whatever, okay, wherever, okay. Anybody that goes all out, the cop that gets out of the car and shakes your hand like I've had happen over the last week and talks to you and bullshits and it's really great and cool and wonderful and has a cup of coffee with you. Writing in about these people and talking about them to their chiefs and their managers and their CEOs and CFOs and board of directors and stockholders, writing letters about these people. I've done this, and Marion and I have been doing this for the last 3 months or so, and it has definitely uh, been reciprocated in wonderful ways, and it's created some really good vibrations with people and made some interesting contacts. And it's been very powerful. And these folks that we have thanked are in thankless fucking jobs. They're thankless fucking jobs. Imagine going home smelling like French fry grease every night with your arms all burned up. And this guy Hugo, that I came to the window midnight. He waited for my friend from France to find a fucking coupon that took half an hour because my friend didn't want to pay $12 for a Whopper and fries and a drink. He wanted to pay $6 for it because he had a coupon. Took him 30 minutes to find it, and the guy at the window waited and laughed with us and joked with us. And then the assistant manager came over finally and found that he was telling the truth. He did have a number, and the assistant manager went in there in the register and poked in the number and put in another number, and he got his Whopper for $6. So the next day, I write a letter to corporate, and the assistant manager gets a raise, and the guy at the window gets a promotion, and everybody's happy, and they're sending us emails back, and they're all happy, and it's wonderful, and it's fantastic, and it's great. And the cops that I recommended are all coming by waving now. They're not looking like a bunch of dicks, they're coming by, they wave, they actually smile, they actually roll down the window and talk to us, like we're kind of level somewhat, and that's because I know their chief, right? Now, right? And so I came up with this idea. Marion's list. I know it's no big secret. You've heard of Angie. The fuck she did it, and I really don't care. But we're doing Marion's list, and the whole point of Marion's list is to have people like myself, Chris, and others in our little small, uh, disconnected kind of wiggly waggly circle, um, reach out and touch people, and when they touch you in a good way, and when they treat you in a good way, and when they treat you with respect and dignity, and they go the extra mile for you, and they don't treat you mean, write a letter, write a long piece about whoever was involved in that situation. Write the damn email. Write the damn email. None of you can tell me right now that you've done that. Not even Chris can tell me that he's written 25 of these emails in the last 3 months. Nobody can, because it's just it's something that needs to be talked about. It's something that needs to be done. It opens up doors. It opens up the gates of success. It opens up these communication channels that don't normally exist. It goes a level higher than the average uh, contact. And it helps people to get raises. It helps people to get promotions. It helps people to secure their future and secure their job title and position and so forth. And like I said, these thankless fucking jobs, we go out there, Marion and I, and we look for people to write about. We just look for people to write about. We just can't wait for someone to treat us with respect and dignity and honor and treat us like we're kings and queens coming into their store and going the extra mile. And no, 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 I'll stay here with you until you find what you need, and I'll stay with you. And we had somebody do that at the tractor shop, and they followed us around. They wouldn't leave us, and they helped us, and we wrote about them. So Marion's list is coming out. We're doing this thing. We're doing this thing. And I don't know how many of you will get involved. I was thinking today, nobody really gives a shit probably anymore. I mean, we've proven that on so many other different levels. But we're coming out with Marion's list, and we're gonna create a page for this, and I want these people's first names and even last, if they permit it, to be on this page where they work and what they did and how they did it and why they did it, how long they did it, and how wonderful they were and how honorable they were and how professional they were. And I want people around the world to see that happening. And I want people to say, my God, this is great. This is a wonderful idea. Why didn't I think of this? I mean, it's so simple. We're not going to down people. We're not going to diss people. We're not going to be negative. We're not going to talk about the people that are assholes. We're not even going to put that on the page. We're not going to put the assholes on the page that say, uh, you know, fuck you. You didn't get your extra mayonnaise. I don't give a shit. Whatever. The line's too long. I'm too busy. Uh, you know, or the person on the phone that said, ma'am, I'm sorry. I just can't help you because of this or that. Blah, blah. Screw you. We're not going to talk about the negatives. We're just going to put the positives, 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 the hard working people that go the extra 10 miles for you in the store at Safeway or Piggly Wiggly or Walmart or the Tractor Supply or the dollar store or whatever. The guy, the flagman that talked to you while you were sitting waiting on a construction site or whatever. You get their name, you get their fucking name, and you write the corporate leaders and tell them what a wonderful fucking job they're doing. And that's what the show was kind of kicked off tonight. I wanted to get that out there. Chris, what do you think about our idea? Chris, are you alive? Are you here? Are you breathing? Do you have a pulse? Um, Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to all have to pitch in and buy poor Chris a phone, a real phone. I don't know what's going on with him. Um, we're going to have to get him a real phone. come out pretty soon. I push it with a hashtag, Marion's List hashtag, and probably some other hashtags that will lead people to it eventually. And I want people to start participating in this idea of recognition, this whole idea of recognition and, giving people a big pat on the back that they deserve for doing a good job and for doing it out of their heart and not because they were getting paid or because they were told to do something, ordered to do something, or whatever. They're going beyond their standard protocol. They're going beyond their standard operational procedure manual. They're going beyond their customer service, whatever. And you can just tell when somebody's really nice and really sweet and really kind and really good and really helpful. And when that happens, we're going to put them on the page. And we're going to put the company on the page, which will encourage the company to make all of their employees shine and let that employee be an example to all of the other employees and all of the other people as to shine and to possibly get them on Marion's list and be recognized as a top gun customer service representative or whatever. Chris, are you there or are you gone? What's going on with you, man? Do you need to call back in? This is just not working out at all. Are you there? Are you? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Chris's name is just sitting there. Chris. So Marion's list is out, ladies and gentlemen. Now, why do I want to do this? You might ask. Well, because I can, and because it needs to be done. Okay, it needs to be done. Okay, there's not enough people getting enough accolade, getting enough thank yous, getting enough pats on the back, getting enough, recognition for their expedient, excellent service, customer service, and patience and respect. Okay. And I want all of you to participate that are listening in Marion's list when it comes out. He steals the idea. Well, more power to you. I don't really give a shit. Go ahead. But we're going to do it anyway. And if you get to the punchline first, we'll just change the name and do it our way, which is the best way, because we're going to be working with some very advanced AI technology that's going to help boost this thing all over the world. Um, and I think it'll catch on. I hope it catches on to other people who really don't think about it. They probably would. They probably got a good heart, but they probably don't think about sending a letter, going as far as sending an email to corporate and the stockholders and whoever, the top dogs in the company, about some $9 an hour guy or $11 or whatever hour guy that's on the front line keeping the business running. I mean, these CEOs don't keep the fucking business running. CFOs don't keep the business running. Presidents don't keep the business running. And even executive directors don't keep the nonprofits running. It's the people on the front line out there getting their hands dirty, working overtime, doing all of the extra volunteer work and the overtime work, being pushed to the ultimate nth degree of make the businesses run and keep the businesses running and keep the wheels greased. You know what I mean? And keep the train moving down the track. Otherwise, these companies go bankrupt. If you have dissatisfied employees, if you have disgruntled employees, if you have employees that are sad and mad and being treated like shit all the time, then you're going to go bankrupt eventually. You're not going to make the income that you want to make. It's going to affect your bottom line every single time. Chris, or should I hang up here? I don't even think he's here. I don't even think he's here. I really don't. So I'm just going to hang up on him. There we are. That's basically what I wanted to talk about today. It probably wasn't that exciting to y'all. Some of you might even be making fun or thinking, oh, what a stupid idea or what a waste of time or whatever. But, Marion and I have seen the power in this. Marion and I have seen the uh, the energy that comes out of this and the reciprocity that comes out of this and the quid pro quo that comes from this. And it really does work. And it really does make people happy, puts a smile on people's faces when they have their supervisor or manager come down with this letter that says, oh my God, you did a great job. You saved our ass. You went the extra mile for this particular person. And thank you, employee. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Sally. Thank you, Debbie. We appreciate you. We love you working here. We respect you. We appreciate you, and we're going to show you this appreciation by giving you a raise or a promotion or just the letter itself, and making them employee of the month or something. I mean, I'm telling you, it works wonders, folks. And we need more of this in the world today. And this could spark something much bigger than Marion's list. I mean, what my whole idea really is, this is just kind of the catalyst. This is just kind of the catalyst. I mean, we'll see what manifests from this, the manifestations that come through this methodology, through this idea, through this concept. We will see what comes out of the other end, and it will expand into something even greater than just a letter to corporate or stockholders or whoever on how wonderful people treated you in customer service in whatever area that might be. So that's all I really have to say about that right now. We can go back to ancient aliens now if you want to. We can go back to people just insisting on connecting everything in the universe to God, Jesus, the devil, demons, resurrection, salvation, redemption, the Holy Bible, blah, 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 blah. This blows my mind. This blows me away. Even some of the most educated people in the world are doing this, and it just blows me the hell away, when they do this. I just cannot understand why they have to do this. It makes no sense to me whatsoever, you know? um, I mean, the story is so benign and so ridiculous and it's so easily proven that it could not just be that one thing and that it could not be that simple you know when you look at CERN and you look at NASA and you look at the space programs, if you look at CERN and you look at DARPA and you look at the Gateway Project and all of the other mind control technologies, and now that we know about the double split experiment and what it really means in the simulation and the matrix and the metaverse and so forth, and transhumanism, and when we look behind the scenes in biology and chemistry and get down to the Planck length and we see the pixels and so forth in the simulation in the game, we know that we're a simulation. So how in the hell could all of this other stuff make any logical, reasonable sense? It can't. It just simply cannot make any damn sense. And I'm not disrespecting and I'm not even dissing. I'm just telling you this is stupid. It's just stupid for people to stay on this religious kick. Jesus is here to save everybody. Lolly lolly la, kumbaya. I mean, anybody that would had half a brain could look around the world and then they would say, "Oh, well, that's supposed to happen. That's what Jesus planned. That's what God planned." God omnipotent and omniscient and so on. And he knew the yeah, really? So God wrote the future. Oh yeah, God. The lady today last night told me God created the devil, and demons, and He created all that evil and all the. Well, I'm like, what? Why would He do that? What would be the purpose in that? I don't understand. She's like, well, I don't know, really. I don't understand much either. But if God is a God, then God must have created evil and child molestation and child abuse and senior citizen abuse and starvation and genocide and transhumanism and all this other crazy Marxist, socialist, leftist crazy shit that's going on, twisted shit, chemtrails and poison, forever chemicals and drug addiction and alcoholism and all kinds of other crazy things, sex slaves being sold around the world. I mean, oh yeah, God created all of that. Yeah, yeah, sure He did. Yeah, well, I don't understand that. I'd like for you to explain it to me. Some of you would come in here and explain it to me. Give me your take on it. Why would God do that? And then some of you, and she said, oh, the devil got kicked out of heaven for really acting up, and he came down here and he's been given control of the earth and all that. And I'm like, that really doesn't make any sense. Why wouldn't God just snap his fingers and just poof, the devil's gone, all evil is gone and we're able to live as Homo sapiens or whatever we are, avatars in our own little gimmicky, crazy matrix kind of world here, you know. And she's like, well, I don't know. I don't know why. And I'm like, well, nobody seems to know anything. I mean, she was even talking, and I was talking about, the thousands and thousands of denominations just within Christianity. And we were talking about the Mormons and the Scientologists and the Buddhists and the Christians and then the Presbyterians and the Methodists and the Church of God and the Church of Christ and the Church of Jesus Christ. And they all think differently. They all interpret the Bible differently. And then she was talking about Constantinople and Constantine and the Council of Nicaea, and she was talking about the Catholic Church and the interpreters and the interpretations of the Bible that have came down pre post Hebrew, post Dead Sea Scroll, and how everything has been altered and changed and so forth for political reasons and whatever. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense either. Why would people be quoting me a book or scriptures out of a book that has been plagiarized and changed and altered due to um, power struggles and politics? um, why would someone even take that literally, anyway? And she's like, well, you have a good point. I can't answer your question, and I'm sure that there's not too many people that can answer your question without saying something stupid like, well, God made all of this happen, and this is all God's word, and this is all God's work, and this is the way things are, and this is the way God created everything to be, and Jesus is going to come back and save us all. And if you just believe in Him with all your heart and all your soul, mind, spirit, and body, then your sins will be forgiven and washed as white as snow. And just go now forth, my son, and do not sin. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, wow, I don't know. And then now we have the mark, the mark, the mark, the mark. We have the digital ID coming and we have the barcode they're going to stamp on your right arm or whatever, and they're going to inject you with this little rice patty thing. They're going to put this little stick of rice in you, and they're going to call it an RFD chip, and they're going to follow you around with it. And they're going to put an occipital chip in your brain. They're going to put another stamp on your forehead or whatever. And they call that the mark of the beast. They're calling that the mark of the beast. They're saying, well, if you take the mark, you're going to hell. There's no doubt, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. You've rejected God. You've lost your soul. You're going to hell. You're doomed. But now the other part of the story is if you take the mark, you won't be able to buy, sell, or trade. If you don't take the mark, you're doomed. You'll go to prison. You'll have your head chopped off. The Bible says you will lose your head. You will lose your bed. You will lose your food. You will lose your car. You will lose your house. your house, you will lose your wife, you will lose your kids, you will lose your mind, you will lose everything. Go anywhere. You'll just have to die. You'll have to rot away. Now, does that make any sense to any of you? And if you can explain that to me, please try. I'd like to know your answer to all of that. And some of you might say, well, if you believe in the Lord, everything's going to be okay. I mean, you're going to be fine. I mean, you're going to be safe. I mean, the Lord's going to protect you. He's going to give you the Holy Spirit to protect you and surround you with love and compassion and safety and security. I don't believe any of that shit either, because I know a lot of people that have gone down that road and are going down that road, and they're living a real shitty life, and they're getting shot and stabbed and beat up and put in jail and everything else, and nothing's going good for them. So that doesn't hold water. Okay, that kind of argument doesn't hold water. Okay, and then you say, well, they must have slipped up somewhere, they must have backslid. That doesn't make sense either. It just doesn't. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, look, folks, I don't want to go to hell either, but I'm not going to be forced to believe in something just because I don't want to go to some fictional hell that I'm not even sure exists. I'm not going to live my whole life based on scripture that tells me if I don't do this and don't do that and blah, 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 I'm going to hell. And children are even going to hell. Many preachers have told me in the Pentecostal church that, oh, yeah, man, if kids aren't baptized in the Holy Spirit, they're going to hell. I don't care if they're 11, 12 years old, 9 years old, they're all going to hell. They're all going to burn, burn, burn. And I'm going, man, if this is Christianity, I don't want any fucking part of it. You know, I mean, I don't want any part of this crazy stuff. This is insane, man. This is insanity, pure insanity. And I'm going to rail on this until people pull their hair out and jump off a cliff. I'm going to rail and rail and rail and rail and rail. And I'm not even an atheist, because I think calling yourself an atheist is idiotic too. I think that's stupid. I mean, it doesn't even make any sense to me to be an atheist, because we don't know where the hell we are. We don't know how the hell we got here. We don't know where the hell we're going when we die, if anywhere at all. And we don't know if there is a creator, and if so, what kind of creator, and who created the creator, or what created the creator, and what created the creator that created the creator that created the creator. I don't know. Nobody knows. It's like people say, oh, the Alpha, the Omega, the end, the beginning, and the end. God was the Alpha, the Omega. God was always here. God always existed. Well, that doesn't make any sense either. He must have been one lonely character, I tell you. If he's existed for a quintillion, 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 quintillion to the quintillionth power of years, I'd say he was pretty lonesome, and I would just not be able to comprehend how many civilizations have come and gone in that time. It would be impossible, incalculable, and it wouldn't make any sense at all. It just the only thing that makes sense is that we are in a game. This is a game. This is a simulation, folks. It's the only thing that makes any logical sense, is that we are in a game. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, I could say that, okay, we're human. Okay, we're human. But then again, evolution has never proven Darwin's theory of evolution, that we existed from a one celled amoeba, and we somehow we adapted. Yes, adaptation, yes, and not the adaptation or evolution that Darwin proposed. Darwin has actually been poo pooed. The whole idea of Darwinism has been poo pooed. So, we know we did not exist from a single amoeba. No, and then grow a spinal cord and start wiggling around and develop some kind of brain or cerebral cortex or some, I don't know, and then become something, a fish, and then a frog, and then a alligator, and then all of a sudden we're crawling up on the bank and I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense. You can't make any sense out of this shit. And Adam and Eve is in, there's hundreds, probably hundreds and thousands of creation stories, if not millions of creation stories. And there are millions and millions of studies and things that have been done. I mean, all throughout the millennias and millennias and millennias of quintillion millennias and floods. And how long has the earth been here? 4.4.2 billion years. That's not very long. Somebody told me the other night that the earth was only 6,000 years old. I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian. I know. I know. The Bible says that God rested on the sixth, seventh day, and Sunday we have to go to church. And I'm like, no, Saturday's the Sabbath, you idiot. If you read the Hebrew Bible, or the text, and he's like, oh, I don't think so. No, no, you just need Jesus, man. You're confused. The devil's got you confused. And I'm like, dude, you're all a bunch of idiots. As I can't think of anything else to call it. But Marion, are you listening to the show tonight? How does it sound? My voice coming through pretty good? Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people have hung up by now and shot themselves or drowned themselves in the bathtub or something. I don't know, jumped off a third story building. But I'm telling you, folks, none of this shit makes any sense. What makes sense is all of the things that happen within the simulation. I mean, all of the things that we can recollect within the simulation, if you want to call it the Akashic record or whatever you want to call it, your mini little Akashic record. You know, all of the things existed in linear time, nonlinear time, whatever you want to say. Yeah, it's possible. Anything's possible within the game. I mean, anything would be possible within a game. And right now, if you look at some of the things that are happening, they seemingly impossible. They're seemingly impossible. Even the inventors, even those who are getting the patents, even those doing the work, the engineers, the computer scientists are saying this is impossible. It's impossible. So anything is possible in the game. And we've gotten to the point now where we don't even understand what we thought we understood. We don't even understand, you know. So I'm going to go. It's almost 7 o'clock and 3 minutes, and I'm mad because Chris needs to get a new phone and get off that fucking toy phone. I'm sick and fucking tired of it. I don't want him to bring it back to the show. Chris, please get a new phone. Don't come back until you get a real adult, mature phone. Get off that kiddie phone, man. Get out of that kiddie pool. Um, But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we need strong, strong audio here, man, to do a real show, not some kiddie phone thing going on. And we can't hear Chris. I want to hear Chris. I want to hear all of Chris. I want to hear everything Chris has to say, man. You know, as much of it as I disagree with, I love to hear Chris's voice, and I love to hear Chris's opinions, uneducated and uninformed opinions. Yeah. Oh, burped. I'm sorry. That whatever. At least I didn't fart on air. Um, you guys take care, you guys and girls, you little avatars, you little Homo sapiens, little Homo secles, and all you other little Cro Magnas out there, and all you renegade reptilians, and man, you Anunnaki, and all the other guys and girls and things out there. Y'all have a great weekend. I don't even know what day it is, man. I tell you, I never know what day it is. It's um, it's Wednesday, man. So we got a show tomorrow night, and I'll leave you with that. I mean, we've gotten a few things said tonight. You know, some of it was a little hard to swallow, I'm sure. But for all of you crazy Christians out there, man, you guys need to wake the fuck up and smell the roses. And even if this Mark of the Beast thing is real, um, wow, that amazes me. I mean, just amazes me that that's the way a creator would put things together in this silly. To me, it's all silly. It's just silly. It's fucking crazy. It's like a nursery rhyme or something, or a horror movie, or science fiction, or whatever. It doesn't make any sense. Um, and if we're in the game, and it is a game, then who's the creator of the game? What's the creator of the game? What created the game? Does the watch need a watchmaker? I don't know. Is it self assimilating? And how does that possible? Um, I kind of think it's all the same thing. I think it's just event happening in the game. It's all just activity in the game. It's all just being rendered up in the game. Whichever way you're traveling. In the game, whatever type of player that you are or pretend to be or purport to be. So anyway, see you guys and girls tomorrow night.